stumbled upon this book. There's an interesting quote. This is an older book, by the way. This is published in 2010, so it's like not even updated. It's like not even, current, therefore. But anyway, this is a cool quote. Okay. Also, I would much rather have this be called the feces book effect. But anyway. In the United States, people take a certain amount of transparency and freedom of speech for granted, but it comes at great cost in some other cultures. When a father in Saudi Arabia caught his daughter interacting with men on Facebook, he killed her. Users in the United Arab Emirates created protest groups with names like Gulf Air Sucks and Boycott Dubai's Dolphinariums. That was apparently within the bounds, but when groups there grew to include lesbians in Dubai, with 138 members, the government attempted to ban Facebook altogether. Governments around the world are struggling to figure out how to handle Facebook's users when they take advantage of its freedoms. After Italian Facebook groups emerged praising imprisoned mafia bosses, a senator there introduced a bill that would force websites to take down content that incites or justifies violence. That incites or justifies criminal behavior. It did not pass. Facebook's own policies are more specific. It takes down content that advocates hate, violence, or breaking the law, except when they're trying to silence women. Then everything's cool. And when they're trying to fucking shut down the truth, then everything's cool. A lot has fucking changed since 2010. Okay, this is by David Kirkpatrick. The full title is The Facebook Effect, The Real Inside Story of Mark Zuckerberg and the World's Fastest Growing Company. I wanted to talk about another feces book effect. Or, internet effects of the internet horse shit. Okay? So, a friend of mine sent me a bunch of cringe compilations of like transgender fluid cringe compilations, okay? And there are a bunch of them on YouTube. And I watched a lot of them, and because they're interesting, right? But unfortunately, all the kids in the Vines, right, are victims of the feces book effect. They're victims of like the internet effect. Kind of, it's hard to describe, but the whole like advent of the internet created trans, basically. The whole advent of fucking like Tumblr created trans, right? The whole internet culture just kind of reproduces itself, and it's really scary. And these kids in these videos, a lot of them are repeating verbatim Tumblr posts. And they think they're being funny by like saying them out loud. They think they're being clever by saying them out loud, but it's like, okay, so you can repeat a Tumblr post out loud. Does not mean anything. Does not mean anything. One that I saw more than at least two kids do, and they're girls. So many of them are girls. Is they're like, well, there's like they're doing a stupid ass fucking middle school Vine, and they're like, well, but what are you? And they're like, oh, I'm a boy. And they're like, oh, but you weren't born a boy. And then they're like, well, I was also 7 pounds 8 ounces when I was born, but a lot has changed since then. Like, moron, that's not the same fucking thing. It's so terrifying to me that so many kids are just being like hand-fed this internet horseshit, Tumblr horseshit, fucking trans trender horseshit abuse, basically, and then just going along with it because it's cool. And oh my god, the comments. I had hope, okay, that the comments for um for a lot of those like cringe compilations, right? I was like, oh, maybe the comments will be like anti-trans, right? Or like anti-trans trender. They're all pro-trans. And they're all like, a ton of them are like, oh my god, I'm a trans person and this is so embarrassing. And I've been commenting on every fucking comment that's like, I'm trans, and I've been like, okay, you're not trans. There's no such fucking thing as trans, okay? It's not a real thing. Like, sure, you can go on testosterone. Sure, you can go on estrogen. Sure, you can have surgeries, but like, all of that was forced and fake. All of it. Kind of like the whole fucking internet. Am I right or am I right? Like, it's all fucking fake. Like, this shit ain't real, B. Like, I fucking made bad lighting here, or interesting lighting here, so, like, I would have an interesting shot, but most fucking people who make YouTube videos don't even think about that shit. Most fucking people who have a camera on their phone do not know how to compose a shot. But they just, take their fucking picture and, like, act like everything's cool when it, in fact, is not. Like, people are putting on these fucking fronts for Feces Book, for YouTube, whatever the fuck, I don't care, but it's fucking creepy, and it's only fueling the trans cult. Getting back to the trans cult. One gal in a Vine said, she was like, God, my mom is just, oh, she's so annoying. Like, she was like, hey, birth name, what do you want to call, what color are you going to paint your room? And I was like, lavender. And she was like, oh, good, a girl color. Yo, lady, if you're a mom and you're saying bullshit to your child like lavender is a girl color, why are you a mom? If you had a child to impose sexist gender roles upon it, sexist sex roles, let's not fucking say gender anymore, sexist sex roles upon this child, why the fuck did you have a kid? Like, you had a kid because you wanted to have a fucking mini me, because you wanted your daughter to like all the stupid ass girly shit that you like? Fuck you. Why are you a mom? Also, why are you a dad? And you know what? A lot of this shit, I'm sorry, that's child abuse. Like, if you're saying shit regularly to your own child, being like, don't boys wear that? Don't girls wear that? Isn't that, don't you want something more masculine? Don't you want something more feminine? Why did you have a kid? We need to teach children what stereotypes are. I learned that word probably when I was like 10, honestly. And it was to my advantage, because once I knew that word, I could point out stereotypes. We don't teach kids stereotypes, and I kind of touched on this in my trans trenders connected to autism video. But like, children, whether they are neurotypical or have ASD, okay, often don't know what stereotypes are, often don't know what harmful stereotypes are, often don't know what harmful sexism is, okay? So when they don't know that, and they're experiencing overt, forced sexism from their parents, they can't connect the dots. They don't understand. Okay, I've heard stories like this from so many people I can't even fucking count. But their parents, so a kid, right? Let's just say it's a girl. She has a bunch of clothes that are like boyish clothes, right? And I've heard this happening from multiple women, okay? That their mom or their dad or both their parents took their clothes away because they didn't like it that she was dressing like a boy. A kid who doesn't understand sexism, a kid who doesn't understand stereotypes, a kid who doesn't understand why that's going on isn't gonna fucking get it when they're gonna say, like, Mom, why are you taking my clothes away? And Mom's like, I want you to dress like a girl. Like, well, okay, one, she fucking is a girl, you dumb bitch. Two, why the fuck are you trying to, like, she has those clothes, why the fuck are you taking them from her? What is wrong with you? Three, you can't just make her someone she isn't. But when you do that to a child, it fucks with them completely. So a lot of these like trans trenders, right, have really shitty parents, are being abused. They're victims of child abuse, straight up. I don't give a fuck what any of y'all say. It's true. Like, if you ever see a trans teen or a trans fucking kid, because those are a thing now, I want you to comment on it. I want you to comment with 5 words. Transing children is child abuse. Because it is. There's nothing you can say to refute that. There's nothing you can do to refute that it isn't, because it fucking is. I was making my 1984 video the other day, and George Orwell said all the way the fuck back in 1949 that he said, we shall abolish the orgasm. Yeah, all those kids that are being sterilized as children, all those girls being sterilized as girls by going on hormones, by going on puberty blockers, or boys by going on hormones, by going on puberty blockers, are abolishing their ability to orgasm one day. Like, they have no ability to have proper sex in the future. I do not know how that's a good thing. How is that a good thing? How is that positive? Like, forget about sexual response. Like, that will fuck up your entire body, your entire system, your hormones, your organs. That will fuck it up. Going on doing invasive hormone replacement therapy on a child, on a minor. It's really fucking dangerous to sedate, to what's the word? To put a fucking 3-year-old under anesthesia. That's really dangerous because they're so young and their bodies are so, so responsive to the littlest amount of any drug. So it's really dangerous, right? So you want to avoid that if you can. But like, apparently people don't give a fuck about teenagers. I guess they're just like done parenting at that point. It's really upsetting to me, honestly, and I have no idea how fucking everyone hasn't fucking seen that this shit is social contagion. Because it is. By the way, some of the vines were girls being like, today is my first day 1 on T, and then they would go like 7 months in the future or whatever and be like, today is my 7th month on T. Yo, y'all sound like Kermit the Frog, okay? Ain't nothing wrong with being a fucking lesbian. Ain't nothing wrong with being a fucking masculine woman. Ain't nothing wrong with being gay. Ain't nothing wrong with that shit. Why are we doing this gay conversion therapy today in 2019? And it's still going to be going on next year in 2020. Why are we still doing this? I don't know. I fucking hate the word tomboy, by the way. Hate it. Always hated that word. Because you're a masculine girl. Why can't you just be a masculine girl? Like, what the fuck even is masculine? Nothing. So, oh, like you wear pants? You wear pants and a t-shirt? Oh, that's masculine? Are you fucking kidding me? I'm just so concerned. And I feel like no one's doing anything. I feel like no one cares.